Good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Ariane McCourt. I'm a bilingual learning consultant and a project lead for your learning services team. I've been doing this now for a little bit over 6 years, and I very much love what I do, which I'm sure you will see as the morning unfolds. Very much looking forward also to talking about these two topics with you this morning. We're going to be talking about Google's Gemini in part 1, and then part 2 is going to be Google's NotebookLM, which is another fascinating app that has been said from your or by your colleagues from previous sessions to be mind-blowing. So get ready for that one. All right, just a couple of housekeeping items as we get started. In the follow-up email, for those of you who signed up for the session, I will be sending you a little later on this afternoon follow-up resources from the session, including all of the slides that I will be showing you. Also, just a note for those of you following us online, we will at the end of the season, which is beginning of December, we will have wrap-up webinars where this content is tailored to online viewing. So if you would like a recording of this session, you can just sign up for those webinars. If you want to attend live, great. If you don't, you'll get a recording automatically. All right. Other than that, if you have any questions at any time, please don't hesitate to let me know. What else? We will have a 15-minute break between the two sessions. So if there's anything that you have to do, that's a great time to do it. However, I don't think I need to say this, but just in case, of course, if there's anything urgent you need to do at any time, don't hesitate to go ahead and do it whenever you need to. All right, let's get started. So part 1, Google's Gemini AI for Realtors, smarter prompts for real results. Our agenda. We are going to do an introduction to Gemini, because let me ask here, who uses Gemini or who has used Gemini? Okay, who's used ChatGPT? Okay, all right. So I am going to talk just about a few sort of key differences between ChatGPT, mostly about security, okay, the security piece. So we'll be talking about that also. We're going to do a deep dive into Gemini's capabilities, which more specifically means we're going to look at the top 5 reasons why, as realtors, you may want to use Gemini. And then the art of prompting. We are going to talk about the 4 core components that you need for a successful prompt, because not all prompts are created equal. And we're going to, of course, do some practical application for those of you who have your laptops and stuff. We're going to be diving into Gemini and trying some things out. And then, of course, as always, we end up with key takeaways and action items. All right. So what exactly is Gemini? Gemini is Google's cutting-edge AI tool that is designed to do a lot of things, but answer your questions, process information, etc. So let's have a look here in Gemini. I'm going to open up a new tab. And what's important to note here, everybody, is on your profile picture at the top right there, you want to make sure that you're logged into your Royal LePage account. And the reason for that I'm going to explain is a security purpose. So through your Royal LePage accounts, you have access to the enterprise version of Gemini, which means that Gemini does not use your chats or the information that you put in it to improve itself. Okay? When you use the free version of Gemini, it absolutely does use the information that you put in there to improve itself and then makes it available potentially to other people, right? So that's a very important thing, of course. So depending on what kind of information you're putting in there, if it's also, client privacy issues and things like that, you do want to be cautious of that. Same thing also as we get into NotebookLM a little bit later, where you're going to basically be uploading documents into it. You want to make sure, again, that you are logged in under your Royal LePage accounts. Does everybody have access to their Royal LePage accounts? Yeah. Yes? Okay. All right. Okay, now, just because we're talking about the security piece, just quickly some differences between ChatGPT and Gemini. So Gemini Enterprise is I'm going to say the equivalent, and I say the equivalent like this because obviously they're not identical. They are two different platforms, but it's going to be roughly the equivalent of ChatGPT Pro, which is of course the paid version of ChatGPT, right? The difference between the security piece is Gemini Enterprise, there is no action that is needed for that security piece to be there, right? And when I say the security piece, I'm talking about the fact that the model does not use your chats to improve itself. With ChatGPT, you actually have to toggle that security piece on. The other thing also, which is interesting about ChatGPT Pro, is it's a little bit sneakier also. And this was an experience that our VP of brokerage technology and AI implementation experienced himself, was that sometimes when ChatGPT releases a new feature, it goes ahead and disables that security piece. So just be cautious of that if anybody is using ChatGPT Pro. Of course, the other advantage to using Gemini Enterprise is it's already included with your Royal LePage fees. Yeah, thank you. I was looking for another word, but yeah, that works too with you. Okay, very good. So let's keep going here. So we're going to go into our 9-dot menu here that has all of our Google apps, and we're going to be looking for the Gemini icon. Now, depending on which apps you use the most, yours may not be exactly in the same order as mine, but that's of course absolutely okay. So let's go ahead and open Gemini once you've found it. Yeah, okay, let me see. Okay, so here you're in RLP network. So can we scroll down a little bit so we can, sorry, up, my apologies. And let's just click on mail here for a second. Okay. Then we're going to go into the 9-dot menu. Okay. And then you will have Gem. Okay. There it is. Right. No problem. And if you have any questions at any time, again, please don't hesitate to let me know. Yes.
I'm lost.
Okay. Yes.
I'm not in chat. I have no idea kind of what to expect here.
Okay.
So I'm completely newbie.
Okay. So
I think I'm in RLP if I'm
so here you're on the RLP, your website. So let's go. So let's go. Right. RLP network.
Oh, we pay for it. Oh, do you have to do the, oh, I just pay for the free, or I just.
No, I don't know. And that may I. So then you will log in. And then from there, you just click on any of these icons, or you can click on your mail icon there.
Yeah.
And then you will have access to that 9-dot menu. I was gonna ask it just to begin again.
Yeah, let's exactly.
Okay, sorry, Manny, because I think you should call my Gmail account as opposed to your Royal LePage. Yeah. That's okay. You can just hold on, let's click on this first. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. If you go on here for a sec, let's see on this. Yeah. Let's see if you have access to both accounts. Okay, so here you have access to both of your Gmail accounts.
Yeah,
My
but
apologies.
not-
Okay, yeah, so let's head back and let's log into your Royal LePage account. So
It looks like I'm in.
yeah, so let's go back to the mail and see what happens here. Is that gonna just log in? No, okay, yeah, so let's, okay, so your Royal LePage address, you just wanna type that in. So it's probably your first and last name, most likely.
Oh, clean my throat.
My William, my Royal LePage, let's see it.
Then you'll need your password. Okay, I don't know what your password is. Let me just give you the Royal LePage customer care email.
It should be the same as going into the Royal LePage network. Mine is.
It should, but for some reason hers is not making the connection.
When you say your Royal LePage account, you're talking about the email account.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm talking about,
Separate file or web or something.
no, I'm talking about your Google Workspace account, which is tied to your Royal LePage email address. Yes.
You know, for a page, that's a whole different
Yeah.
story.
So if you don't use Royal LePage, the email, that's fine. But I would suggest that you use the Gemini component and the NotebookLM app through that address nonetheless.
So use the.
We're gonna talk-
to get in.
Exactly, use the address just to get in. Whoops, sorry, I grabbed the wrong card because I was chatting at the same time.
Nobody's.
Can I not just say forget?
So whoever's representing the landlord should be doing it as a matter of service for the client.
Before I get timed in.
So if you just.
It's none of our responsibility.
It says that the landlord must provide.
And if that doesn't work, then I would help at royalbeach.ca. Okay,
Some of them, I've had that before.
Okay.
Email.
All right, and then you can just go to chat with Gemini. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe if that whole thing is right, okay, so see here.
You use your own period button, you know.
I can leave it like.
So you want us on Gemini? Yes, please. You should be seeing something roughly like mine, and I say roughly because if you haven't used it a lot, you won't see chats like this here.
So mine looks like.
So you're gonna say chat with Gemini. So at the bottom left, yeah, you got a blue, and it's gonna ask you to accept the permissions and stuff like that,
Okay,
and
so
then you'll be
use
good to go.
Gemini.
So there's a Royal Page West Gmail account, email account.
Okay.
And then there's a Royal Page email account, corporate
Okay,
account. Because you can use either.
so sorry, I'm not aware that you have two separate.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was a West one.
Well, there's the West one, right? Royal Page West at, blah. But there is also a head office one that you can use. It just says Royal Page, your name and or whatever your.
It's the head office one.
It's the head office one that you want to be using.
Well, right.
Yeah.
So if you use royalpagewest.com, do you get the same access? I guess that's the question.
As I said, I am actually not aware. I didn't know that any offices had two separate email addresses that are linked with Royal LePage. So I'm gonna email my boss and see, because right now I don't know how to answer that question. Like I said, I was not aware. Maybe Julio can help us out.
Okay, Julio should know the answer.
So apparently you guys, there are two separate email addresses that agents here have. One that is Royal LePage West and one that is, okay.
No,
What is your email? Who has a Royal Page account?
everybody, every agent,
But does it just say royalpage.com?
Yes.
RLP.ca.
.ca.
Yes.
Okay. It's making me feel better because I was like, I did not know that. Okay, all right. Okay,
Here, Jimmy. Eureka.
all right, everyone. So a few things here I want to talk about the platform. The first thing is, I'm going to ask you all to go down to the bottom left menu that says settings and help. And we're going to click on that. And I would like you all to click on apps. We're going to go into the apps menu.
So the chat was Gemini, I have to put chat.
So you're going to click chat with Gemini. Once you have it open, it's going to ask you to accept permissions, and then it will take you to the platform itself.
Where do you want us to go in settings?
Apps. Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. All right. Everyone doing okay? Very good. Okay, so we're going to click on apps. And we're going to scroll down a little bit. And the first thing that I want to ask you all to do is to enable this toggle. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're going to connect all of these other apps to Gemini. And why is this so useful? Because by doing this, by connecting them, you can actually ask Gemini to go and find things for you in these other apps. So,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Create, like I'm now, hello, yes, so. I'm here, okay,
And then go apps.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, because
And click the top in the front productivity.
Go down,
The blue toggle there.
and then up, there, yeah,
Push it
you
over.
got it.
There you go. Is Anna there?
I don't have any sheets. There's these amendments, it's like. And make it clear, this is where it's done. It's okay, I can work with phone.
Okay.
I don't have any.
Settings, but
Like nothing.
What
Is
was
it
it
up there?
at the top?
It says pause.
Well, actually, that's my account, so.
Not signed in, that's why it's not
I know,
working.
it's yours, right?
It's my
You
account,
signed
it's my account, so just follow the prompts.
Sign it, you have to sign in though.
Yeah,
Sign
because
it.
that's why it's not working, it's just because you're not signed in.
That's because she doesn't know her password, right?
Okay,
And Julio signed it, it's okay,
Okay.
don't
So
worry about it, I will follow
You
the
can work
prompt,
with, you
it's
can
all
work
right.
with me. then.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, you're a team.
okay. All right, so guys, I was just saying, when you toggle this on, it will connect all of these apps to Gemini, which means that then you can ask Gemini to find things for you. So I'm pretty sure everybody here has the experience probably daily where you can't find something in your emails or you can't find something in your Google Drive, and it's so annoying. So guys, I actually used this the other day and it was so amazing. I had a broker ask me, what kind of video editing tools do you recommend? And I said, oh, off the top of my head, I remember that we did a session on this, but the only name that comes to mind is CapCut. And I said, I know there were others. So, give me a few days when I'm off the road training, I will look into it, blah, blah, blah. And so I went into Gemini and I asked Gemini, go into my Google Drive and find the names of video editing tools. And it brought it up for me immediately. So it was a session that I did with Niels Mack from our marketing team at head office. We did this session on TikTok, etc., at the National Sales Conference in Calgary. And it brought up the document and stuff that we had with the resources with all of the names of those editing tools, as opposed to spending, I don't even know how much time, probably hours trying to sift through all my documents. So this is just an amazing thing already to use Gemini for. All right. We're going to come back to our main section just by hitting Gemini at the very top left. Okay. So in the middle here is, of course, our prompt section, which, similar to ChatGPT, this is where you're going to be asking your questions or making comments, etc. At the top menu here, this is what we call our hamburger menu, where you can expand the menu by clicking on it. If we do this, it opens up the side menu. As I was saying earlier,
All blank for me.
Because you don't have
that's
a.
because you don't have chats. I'm just about,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
I'm
sorry.
just about, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just about to explain. So if you haven't used it yet, you won't have all of these recent chats, right?
Yeah.
Which is normal. As soon as you start chatting with it and using it, then you will start having these here, okay?
Mhm.
And speaking of these, at the moment, if we click on the 3-dot menu, at the moment, you cannot delete recent chats. Now, I say at the moment, or you'll hear me say also yet a lot at the end of sentences, because as I'm sure you all know, AI is improving so quickly that something that I say today could well be different in a week's time, in a few days' time, months, who knows, right? So at the moment, as I said, you cannot delete any chats. However, if they are chats that you want to have access to the information for frequently, you can pin them so they will stay at the top rather than getting lost as you keep chatting, right? You can also rename them because Gemini will automatically give the chat a name, but sometimes that name doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot to you, right? So you can go ahead and rename it also for yourselves. Okay. Other thing that I want to talk about here is you have the Flash version. If you click on this, the Flash version of Gemini, or also the Pro version of Gemini. And it gives you a quick overview there of which one you would use for what, depending on what it is you're trying to do. So the first one, the Flash one, it says fast all-round help. So for very quick questions, quick help, kind of simple requests, you would use that one. The Pro version, it tells you, is more when you need the tool to actually really use its reasoning skills, or if you're doing complicated math, or also HTML code or things like that. Okay. The other thing also is you have your microphone here. So if you don't want to type in your request, you can also use the microphone to make your request or your question. Okay. Otherwise, in tools, you will see this is a fairly recent tool that now allows you in Gemini to create and edit images, just like ChatGPT also has that function. But this function in Gemini is called Nano Banana. That is actually its name. You can see there's a little banana next to it, so I'm not making it up. And what's very interesting also about AI is a few weeks ago when we did the Train the Trainer session for all of our trainers across Canada at Royal LePage in different offices, one of the trainers asked us, could you guys at Learning Services create a huge chart with all of the AI tools and which one is better used for what? And so we said, unfortunately, that would be really difficult to do and to keep up because, again, AI tools are improving so fast that one day, it might be the case that one tool is better for a specific thing, but then a week later, another one is better. Prime example of this is actually the tool Nano Banana. So if you had asked our VP of AI, David, a few months ago, which was better for image creation, ChatGPT or Gemini, he would have said ChatGPT. Now with Nano Banana, he would say Gemini. Okay. And you don't have to take our word for it. You can, of course, test out both for yourselves. I've had your colleague realtors in previous sessions actually ask ChatGPT to, for example, modify a family picture of theirs or something with specific, they were inside and they said, make us, put us outside in nature. And they did the same in both platforms. And absolutely, the results were much, much better in Gemini. Okay. All right. So that's just kind of a start of an intro to Gemini here. Let me head back to our slides here. And I'm going to leave Gemini open because we'll come back to it in a bit. So if you think about your daily tasks, how would you use Gemini to immediately benefit your business or to make your lives easier? Or I'm going to say, how do you currently use, I know you're a big ChatGPT user, so how do you currently use AI daily as realtors? What do you use it for?
I just created, because I'm you, I just created an Excel that tracks everything, like income expenses, and does it by year to year, and then does automatic calculations and give me financial statements and income statements and
I love it.
And I just did that yesterday with ChatGPT.
I love it. Okay.
Thanks for LinkedIn posts.
LinkedIn posts, absolutely. Social media posts in general, yes.
He's not here. We have someone we work with named Ed,
Yeah.
and he has ChatGPT produce flyers for him. He delivers the houses about the one he did on the weekend was about using an agent with regular commission, regular percentage that they charge versus someone that discounts. It was all written by ChatGPT.
I have custom GPTs projects. I just downloaded the new browser, which is going to be the competition to Chrome. It's called Atlas.
Okay. Very good. Other things, yeah.
I would like to say that pretty much for me, I'm still looking for those kind of tools to help me with my marketing. I still haven't seen anything which helped me to find a potential new buyers, new sellers, That's cool, I think. Because, advertising is one thing, kind of doing math, I already had a program on the, for calculate all my expenses. That's not a big deal, yes? But just in our business, with 80% of our time, technically, practically supposed to be you're looking for new clients, yes. So is there any tool, anything in this business which helps me to find new buyers and sellers? That's, because I understand, because I've seen let's say the property, you have a new listing, helps you to put a description of it, with the Gemini. Yeah,
Correct.
that's fine. Yeah,
That's
that
another
helps you
use.
save time. But this is already after we have this client, yes? But I still haven't seen anything. Maybe we can tell us how this can help me to generate new business, new client, new sellers, new buyers.
Okay, so I just want to point out that's another very good use of ChatGPT, as you said, right? Listing descriptions to enhance them, right? So we're not seeing the same words everywhere like charming or nestled or things like that, right? So absolutely. Then the other thing is we are going to talk about, again, the top 5 reasons why you might use it. And one of them is enhancing client communication, right? When you tailor your communication to clients, to leads, to potential clients, etc., this is going to help you also convert, right? Because we know how important communication is. And I think we talk about the importance of communication in every single one of our training seasons because it's just so important, right? So, but then as to, at the moment anyway, AI cannot do what you do as in connecting with people and people skills, right? So, which I want to say is a good thing, right? Because that means you guys cannot be replaced completely, right?
Yes.
It means that it can help. Sorry?
I just said yes.
Yes, right? It means it can help you along the way, but you guys still need to be picking up the phone, right? Making those calls, connecting with your database. So AI can help you to connect with your database in the most optimal way, if you want, again, by tailored communication. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, but you're not talking that someone will the system will make a phone call pretending that it's me.
Yeah,
talking to.
that's what I'm saying. That's not yet possible.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be a time. I'm sure.
Well,
I feel like that's where we're
already
going,
possible.
right?
That's already possible, but
Make
you gotta pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tested a software here
Okay.
for recruiting purposes
Mm-hmm.
to call out, and it was absolutely mind blowing. I had agents call me and be like, "Where'd you get this? I want to use it."
Okay.
You can literally have calling outbound that is able to react
Mm-hmm.
and have a conversation with you and book an appointment already. So
Mhm.
that's already possible, but
So sorry, when I said it's not possible yet, Gemini, right? This is what we're talking about, right? So through Gemini, it's not yet possible. Through ChatGPT, not yet possible, right? But to Julio's point, there are tools, but again, at Learning Services also, we try and talk about the things that you guys get for free or that are already included. You guys have a lot of hands in your pockets, right? So when we present tools to you, we also try and not have you buy more things or pay for more things. Not that they're not useful and not that we never talk about them, but we try and kind of focus on the tools that you're already given for included, right?
Can I just say that I
Yes.
also used ChatGPT to help me with an amendment clause on the weekend regarding mold remediation for one of the houses that my clients purchased.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very helpful. I had to dig down and ask further questions about, using OREA forms and OREA clauses and incorporating. So I had to ask 3 or 4 different questions
Mhm.
to dig down a little bit deeper and make sure that if they don't remediate, then what's the alternative? Like,
Mhm.
So, but at the end, the clause was great. And then I just added a few of my own words and then I
Mhm.
put it into the amendment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt that was really helpful because I needed to sort of dig down to understand too, okay, like a mold remediation clause also means that I want a certificate back from the seller using an IICR certification for mold remediation. I didn't know that unless I had researched that, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Mm-hmm.
I have one.
Mm-hmm.
I work mostly commercial. it's not unusual to have a 10-minute conversation about zoning and parking and ceiling height and density and blah, blah, blah. And then there's a program that will pop that back into a summary, 4-page summary, as within your conversation with the client. So you don't forget anything you spoke, but
Mhm.
you're usually writing things down, quickly chatting. But it'll just send you an email right back after that to finalize it, to summarize the conversation.
So you're actually recording your call and then it summarizes, so is that what you're saying?
I
Oh,
don't use it. My son has one, because he does the same type of thing.
Mhm.
And he says, yeah, after a 20-minute conversation, you're trying to think, did I remember everything? And then that pops out a whole summary of this recording and then a summary of the conversation.
and the recording is used one of the apps on your
You can
phone?
just use Teams for that. If you have like a Teams call you're doing, it'll just do the transcripts and then you can just say, oh, just give me high level, any action items for Althea. And so anything I'm responsible for that I said or other people said for me, it'll just sit so that I know what to do if it's like a really, yeah.
Oh my God, so I have a question.
Mhm.
So we're going back to security. So you talked about turning on and off.
In ChatGPT Pro.
Okay, but in Gemini,
No action, Gemini Enterprise, again, which is through your Royal LePage accounts, no action is to be taken. It just automatically does not use your chats to improve itself.
okay, so you couldn't do that with what these guys have just mentioned, like recording conversations with Gemini? Is that what
So
you're saying?
through Gemini, it can act as a meeting note taker, which, hang on, we're going to talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, it can act as a meeting note taker, right? So let's dive in here to the top uses. Okay. Number one, effortless content creation and marketing. So you can have Gemini generate engaging property descriptions, as we talked about, social media posts, as we also talked about, blog articles as well, and email newsletters. Also, if you guys send out newsletters to your database. So here we asked Gemini, write a 200-word blog post on things to do on a summer Sunday in North York. So it pops this out for us. Escape the ordinary and embrace the best of summer in North York. A perfect Sunday awaits, offering a blend of culture, nature, and delicious food. I mean, I live in North York and this is making it sound very good, like I want to go there, right? All right, and the other thing that we're going to look at here is that once you have Gemini create something for you, how would it look once you actually, for example, created the blog post, right? So I just want to ask, are there any RLP Sphere users here? Okay, so we have a few. So I just want to say, for those of you who are not using RLP Sphere, I'm sure whatever CRM it is you're using has also similar tools to what we have. But of course, because we are an RLP Sphere company, those are the examples we're going to be showing here. But you can have a look here. So this is us creating the blog post, right, in RLP Sphere with an image. And then we grabbed this text with a few edits, of course, and then popped it in there. So just a note about, as I said, making a few edits and things like that. There are a few reasons you want to do that. Number one, when you have AI create something for you, you always need to proofread it and vet the content. We are going to talk a little bit later on how AI, generative AI, can hallucinate, right? That is the term. It means it makes stuff up. And if you guys have ever tried this before to prove a point that is wrong, it's quite scary sometimes, okay? So we got to make sure we always vet the content. The other reason that also you want to switch some things up here is for plagiarism reasons, right? Because it's also not necessarily obvious or stipulated where Gemini is getting the information from, right? So we don't want to be in a situation where maybe a journalist wrote a blog post on things to do in North York, right? And it just went, there you go, right? And you're just copy pasting it verbatim. That's the word I'm looking for. The other thing also you want to be cautious of, which is a dead giveaway of copy pasting of AI, is the M dash. You guys know what an M dash is? It's essentially like two dashes in a row, like a long dash. Only AI does this. So that's a dead giveaway, right? That you're just copy pasting and you didn't even bother to read the content. Okay. which is obviously not good for your brand and your image to your clients and stuff, right? Okay. All right. Number 2, enhancing client communication. So you can have Gemini help you craft personalized messages and responses to inquiries, automate lead responses, and organize follow-ups. So this is a screenshot again in RLP Sphere of the compose email function, which you may have noticed has use smart assistant button now. And so the Smart Assistant button is available anywhere in RLP Sphere where you're composing text, essentially, right? So it's in the template section, it's in the email section, etc. And basically, Smart Assistant is ChatGPT built into your platform of RLP Sphere. Okay, so right in the platform, you can have ChatGPT give you a hand to send a welcome email message, for example, send a check-in email message. Of course, there's the option of custom prompts, right? Where you can ask it exactly what you want it to do, right? Number 3, data-driven market analyses and insights. So you can also have Gemini provide insights on price fluctuations, supply and demand, and also even generate CMA reports, right? Comparative market analysis. Like, it is very, very cool. So here we said to Gemini, give me a real estate market report for Leslieville 2025 in Toronto. Use credible sources. So use credible sources is one of the ways that we can try and limit the hallucinations that I was talking about from AI. It won't sort of nix them 100%, but it's going to limit how much it goes off the rails, basically. By the way, you can also name the sources. Yeah.
How Sigma use MLS.
Exactly. So you could actually name the sources as well. The other thing that I just want to know while we're talking about sources, etc., is so because I was asked this question in another session, and I think it's a really good question, which is, does Gemini or ChatGPT, do they have access to password protected information? The answer to that is no, unless somebody has essentially leaked it through the free versions, right? Does that make sense?
What do you mean by free version?
So as I was mentioning, the enterprise version of Gemini you have access to is not a free version.
Okay.
It has that level of security.
Individually.
Correct.
Individually. So mine, depending on the questions I ask, will be different from somebody else's.
Correct. And also what you put into yours, for example, you won't have access to that information.
Right.
If you're using the free versions, that's how the models grow,
Yeah.
right? That's why they make it free. The trade-off is whatever you put in here, I'm going to use it, right? So
It's not details. It's just like people's thoughts. Wouldn't you want more of that? Like, wouldn't you want it to be smart to be able to like give you different ideas of what other people are doing? And
So-
as long as there's no confidential information.
I agree. So, depending on what it is you're asking it,
Yeah.
I would absolutely encourage you all to, for example, use your personal Gmail account. If you're just asking stuff like, I don't know, what can I do with my 10-year-old kid this weekend in Mississauga or whatever, right? Things like that. But again, when it is, because obviously you guys in your professions deal with a lot of private information, confidential information, etc., for which you're responsible. And that's why I was being such a stickler in the beginning about using the enterprise version.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yes, we asked Gemini again to sorry, did I finish talking about the source? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we asked it to create a Leslieville real estate market report for 2025. And Gemini spits out, so it gives us an overview here. Let me see. Yeah, I can't make it any bigger. However, I'm just reminding everyone that you will receive all of these slides, okay, in the follow-up email. But so it gives us an overview first, then it says key market indicators, and it gives us everything. Median, sales price, inventory level, sales activity, price growth, and so on. Again, always please vet the content, right? And then this is an example of us creating that market report with some edits, of course, in RLP Sphere. Now, of course, if you guys have set up your RLP Sphere, here we're just using a test account for training purposes. But here, of course, you would have your agent profile picture and your agent name, etc. there. Okay, so it looks very professional and clean. All right, and the number 4 reason that AI is going to be useful for you or is already useful is optimizing listing presentations as well, and also virtual staging. So you can have Gemini analyze property photos, suggest virtual staging elements, and recommend optimal pricing strategies. So as we talk about this, everybody, it is very important, I'm going to say, that you cover your behinds. And by this, I mean, if you are having AI virtually stage photos for you, please make sure that you are using the correct language to let people know that, okay? And again, at Learning Services, we're not an expert on that, so I'm going to direct you back to Julio to, if you have any questions about that. Is that fair? So Julio's like, great, just giving me more work.
No, it's all right.
About that, because obviously it's very important. Other things to note that sometimes can happen if you're using AI for virtual staging is, and this has apparently happened before, I heard from a broker out in Thunder Bay that it has already happened, that agents have gotten in a bit of hot water for this, where they had virtually staged photos and it just so happened that AI changed some structural elements on them. So you just want to be cautious. Again, these tools are great, but just be cognizant of the use of,
Not to judge.
exactly, ask it, you know, things like changing countertops and stuff like that, right? And apparently a sale fell through because of that, right? Because it wasn't represented correct. Yeah.
I
Okay.
read online today that
Yeah.
about changing the outside of the house.
Mm-hmm.
They took the old tree and made it a new tree, they took the lawn and improved the lawn and had gardens all there. Showed the actual photo and the staged photo, and there was a little kerfuffle about it.
Very misleading.
Yeah, right. So see, it's already happening. So yeah. All right.
But
So-
with all that,
yeah.
shouldn't you have disclaimers?
Well, sorry, that's what I mean by the proper language. Sorry, I should have used that word. It's
Disclaimers.
literally
So you
disclaimers,
just-
right?
You tell them exactly.
Absolutely. But I believe regardless of disclaimers, you still don't want to be changing, you don't want it to change structural elements, and you don't want it to make, you know, changes like that, which is basically it's misrepresenting the
Yeah, but
property,
disclaimer,
right?
You can have disclaimer say that it is an altered picture.
You could also.
Leo, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
now
have to say
revert
that
back to you
you're-
here.
You know, that is a render, right?
Yes.
Of a potential new development or whatever.
Mhm.
And you can also show the things like each room unstaged. That's what I've done in the past. I've showed unstaged, staged, so
Yeah,
people get.
That's very good also to have both, right?
But also you need that disclaimer about, not intended to solicit clients on properties really on the market.
Yeah.
Because you never know what it's up.
Yeah, yeah. No, and again, as I said, everyone here, we're not experts about the disclaimers and stuff at Learning Services. So again, we would encourage you to make sure that you're including everything that you need to, of course. So here is an example though of virtual staging that we asked Gemini to do. So this is an example of a room in a place that someone had just moved into. And they asked Gemini, hey, you know, provide some decorating tips for this space. And this is what Gemini came up with, right? So now the thing with this is I had some realtors comment immediately, oh, it's so dark, right? But so the great thing about generative AI is it's what we call, the chats are iterative, which means that to your point, sorry, your name again?
Beatrice.
Beatrice. To Beatrice's point, sorry, you can keep the conversation going, right? So if you don't like this, you don't like how it is, you can say, okay, make it less dark, add more natural light, or blah, 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 right? Whatever it is that you want it to edit.
Or use modern furniture.
Exactly, right? Okay. All right, number 5, streamlining administrative tasks and augmenting productivity, therefore. Assisting with email management, reviewing large documents, although, if I may, if you're reviewing large documents, I would actually have a preference to use NotebookLM, and you will all see why when we talk about that in part 2, and act as a meeting note taker, right? We were talking about that earlier. So Gemini can do those things for you also. What we did here is we voice texted to Google Docs. So this is an example, again, of voice typing in Google Docs, which allows me, of course, to dictate any message I want. And what we asked Gemini here to do is basically go into our various apps, right? Because we connected everything, right? The email, in the beginning, right? We connected the email, the calendar, Google Drive, everything. And we said to Gemini, okay, go into all of these apps and consolidate all of the activities that I have planned for today, right? And give me a list so that it's more digestible and I know exactly what I'm doing today, right? So Gemini goes, very good. My daily schedule. Here is an example of what I have planned for my day. Around noon, I need to host an open house. In the afternoon, I'll be meeting my 2 favorite clients at a cafe. In the evening, I will be reviewing my RLP sphere. See how we snuck that in there? Always. And working on a few tasks there, and so on. Okay.
Working on what, sorry?
I said working on my RLP sphere. So I said, see how we snuck that in there? Our CRM platform, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about AI slop, what it is, and and therefore the importance of refinement so that we don't come up with AI slop, or we limit it as much as possible. So AI slop can be many different things. It can be something like this, which is totally made up, right? Which is essentially some sort of Trojan horse built out of bread, right? But the thing with AI slop too, sometimes I want to say, unfortunately, is that people still find it entertaining, right? Including Mark Zuckerberg here, apparently. So anyway, it can be, again, stuff that's totally made up and unreal. But AI slop can also be many other things. It can also be, for example, if all of you here in the room were to write a very basic short prompt with no detail for Gemini, like, for example, give me a listing description, and you all put the same address, and that's all you asked, right? What happens then is essentially you guys would pretty much all come up with something that's fairly similar and that's not detailed and probably not accurate also. And so that is another form of AI slop, right? Another example of AI slop can also be, for example, if your name again? Debbie. So if Debbie were to write an email to Ed, asking Ed a very simple question, okay? And 30 seconds later, Debbie gets an answer from Ed that is 2 pages long. Clearly, as fast as Ed might type, pretty sure that he did not write those 2 pages himself, right?
Yeah.
And so why is that an issue also for Debbie? Is because now she's going to have to wade through those 2 pages of text just to find the simple answer to the question that she asked, right? So that's another form of AI slop, right? And if you're doing that, for example, to your clients, you're showing them that you're not giving them customized, personalized attention, right? So again, we want to be weary, very weary of AI slop, okay? So, and to that end, I want to ask you all of those of you, who want to participate in this instant listing description challenge, we're going to head back to Gemini. And let me just put up an example here. Just a minute here. Okay. And so what I'm going to ask you all to do, as I just mentioned actually a couple minutes ago, is I want you to ask Gemini to create a listing description for an address that you're very familiar with, okay? You need to know all the details of the address, whether it be yours, a family member's, maybe even a listing you currently have on the market, okay? But the idea is we're gonna make the prompt very simple with no detail, basically, okay? So literally an example is create a listing description for X address, so 1700 Eglinton Avenue East in Toronto, Ontario, under 200 words, okay? So let's do something like that for whatever address you're very familiar with. And let's see what we come up with.
So I suppose to click on what, right?
So you're gonna click, you can click on new chat up at the top here. And then create a listing description. Yeah.
Why is it gray? A new chat is gray.
I'm sorry, why is it gray? I will come and see. No. Because you've never started chatting, so you can just click there and chat immediately.
Type something.
Yep, you can just start typing.
Type what you wanna create a listing
Yeah.
for.
So what's the address? 1700?
Well, you can do your own.
So you gotta
What is your own?
You know all of the details of the address.
And it
So
could be a
whatever-
past one.
Yeah,
Doesn't
so it
have
can
to be
be your
current.
address, it can be a family member's, maybe a listing you currently have on the market. Okay, so again, it has to be an address that you are familiar with. Because I'm gonna ask you what you think of the description. Is it accurate? Is it not? Is it missing things? And then when everybody's had a couple minutes to do that, I'm gonna ask if anybody wants to share.
And it doesn't matter like we use the uppercase or lowercase, yeah,
Doesn't matter.
and making mistakes in grammar or something like that.
So I have a quick question. I got an answer to mine.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's given me just a very brief description.
Yeah.
And key features. So it has location and then a link. So can I go ahead and click on that link?
Uh-huh.
And I should be
Absolutely, to
checking
see,
through, right?
yeah. And I want to see this as well, because actually this has not happened yet in my session, so I'm curious to see what it comes up with.
So it's,
Let's see.
yeah, so location applicable.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I understand what you mean. It gives you the link to where it got that information from.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
wait, I just answered that.
Yeah, that's, you're on top of it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, guys. So anybody want to share what the description? So as I said, is it fully accurate? Are we missing things? Are there things that are blatantly wrong?
Yes,
It's very generic.
it's very generic, yeah.
Okay, very generic. Okay. The other examples I can give you specifically that can happen when your prompt is just very simple and vague and not detailed. I had one of your realtor colleagues, can't remember if it was her place or one she had on the market, but it doesn't matter. A house, and it said the basement, was finished, which it was not, which obviously is a huge problem, right?
That's what I've got.
That's what you've got, right? So obviously.
Yours finished?
No.
Oh.
But it says it's finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those can be issues, of course. For this property, in a previous one that I had done, because this was my second try, so it got it more right, the second time. But the first time it said, because this is it's a condo building, and it said it was a 2-bed, 2-bath.
Oh,
Well, how does it know that, right?
Mhm.
Because in this building, there are bachelors all the way to 2+1s, right? So what are you talking about, right? It also said it had an indoor pool, which it does not. It has an outdoor pool, right? But again, also 2 weeks separated when I made that first attempt and then the second attempt, and you can see it got a lot more things right here. Right here, it says, oh, wait a minute, there are different suites from 580 to 1200 square feet. And yes, the pool is actually outdoor, right? So it is improving, as I said, but the key is having better prompts than this, okay? And of course, this is what we're going to be talking about.
And it's also, I might add,
yeah.
too, what I'm noticing is it's only as good as the information goes back in dates, right? So with
Yes.
real estate, I mean, looking at, I use my own address and it's outdated. Like I've been living there for almost 20 years, so we've changed a lot, since then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, very important to proofread.
Mhm. Yes.
So I understand because we have a beautiful description of our listing.
Okay.
So, okay, if we wouldn't have that listing, so because we created the information, obviously we put all the information on it, yes, but if this wouldn't be that listing, let's say this is there will be a brand new listing. So where is this information would come from, like from here? Like,
So if you're saying a brand new listing, as in a listing that has never been on the market before, well, the problem with that is that absolutely there is no information for it to pull from. So sometimes what will happen, and I've had other realtors say, let me know this, that they put in a property that again hadn't been on the market for decades and decades or whatever. Sometimes what it will do is it will go pull information from neighboring homes and things like that. And that's even less accurate, right? Because it's just, I mean, right?
so if it's a condo, so I understand that we will get maybe more information about the condo building itself, yes, about amenities, everything, which is there, but then about specific unit, we have to.
You would have to put in at least the sort of the basic specs.
Yeah, and the language is like, welcome to unparalleled penthouse living. Where are they coming with this sophisticated word unparalleled to penthouse living? Yeah.
So meaning you like it or you don't like it? It's hard to tell.
You don't show it.
But yeah, I mean, this is why it's great, right? Is because it's using words that are a little bit different, hopefully, again, from your sort of, you know, I don't want to say tired because that's not really nice, but
every day.
sort of generic, right? Like your generic listing descriptions, right? Okay. So why does AI slop happen? So few reasons. Number one, prompts are too vague, right? They're not specific enough. They lack context, and we're going to talk about context, what that means, but specifically it means to whom are we addressing this? Who is the audience, basically, right? And we're going to talk about it. Or the format or tone are not specified. So for example, if you're writing an email to a long-standing VIP client of yours that have maybe become almost like a friend to you, right? You're going to want to specify what kind of tone we're using. We're going to want to specify who that client is. We're going to let Gemini know. This is a client, a VIP client of mine. They've become almost like a friend, where we've become friends over the years. Use a warm, friendly tone in the email, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the impact of AI slop on your business? Obviously, it can negatively affect you and your brand, right? And also client communication again, because to the example I just gave, if it's a VIP client who's become like a friend to you or a brand new lead who has never met you, I'm going to think it's weird if I've never met you and you come at me like we're lifelong friends, right? Like that's just bizarre.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, right? That might be even worse if you're, have known the person for ages and you're talking to them as if you don't know them. That's also not nice, right? Okay, so things, of course, like generic property descriptions we want to avoid, right? Impersonal emails and things like that. So what is the solution to all this? Prompt refinement. So this is the crucial component of having success with AI and Gemini specifically also, is using the 4 core components in your prompt, okay, to make it effective. And these 4 core components are persona, task, context, and format. And we're going to be breaking these down in detail in a couple of minutes. So the art of prompting, because as I said earlier, not all prompts are created equal. So this is a fascinating graph in my mind. So these are the number of words that people are using in their prompts, okay, from lowest number to highest number, and the count of prompts being inputted into AI. And so you can see that shockingly few people are using detailed and very long prompts. People are using 5-word prompts. There is no way you're going to get a good output with 5 words in your prompt, right? There's no way. So the great thing, right, it's basically 5% or less than 5% of users, right, are writing longer detailed prompts, right? Most of them are here. And this is where we want to be in here, right? And so again, by the end of today, if you're not already there, that's where you're going to be. And therefore, you're going to be way ahead of the curve, right? Okay, so let's break down these 4 core components that I mentioned earlier. So persona. The first thing is you want to tell Gemini, who are you when you're asking for this task to be done? What I mean by that is, of course, the most obvious person that you would be is, I am a realtor in Etobicoke, right? Very good. But depending on what the task is that you're asking it to do, maybe you want to be someone else. And by that, I mean, what if you wanted to create a social media post for you? Then maybe there you say, I'm a social media guru,
What if
right?
you say I'm the president of the United States?
I was going to say, not sure what's going to come up with there. But yeah, so depending on what it is that you're wanting it to create, you can tell it to be whoever you want it to be, right? The task, I think this is the one everybody's familiar with, right? It's what exactly do you want it to do? But the more specific you are in the task also, the better the output is going to be. Okay? The context. So this, as I was mentioning earlier, the context is, who is this addressed to? So for example, if it's a listing description, is there a target audience, right? Is it first-time home buyers? Is it young families? Is it blah, 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 right? Empty nesters, because obviously, depending on who you're targeting, it's going to be written completely different, which makes total sense, right? But they're often things that we don't necessarily think of including, right? When we're first starting to use AI. And the last one is format and or tone, right? So, tone being, of course, warm and friendly, professional, blah, blah, blah. Format, short paragraph, bullet form, etc. Okay, and we're going to have lots more examples of these also. So let's break down an actual prompt here for the structure. So this is the example here. I am a realtor based in Toronto. That is the persona, of course. Then we have the task. Draft a warm, friendly outreach email. So we have the task and also the tone in there at the same time. Context. So who is this email going out to? To someone I met in the line at Starbucks. We discussed the fun of having our kids enter high school and I want to offer them a quick consultation. And then what is the format? Limit to 300 characters. And also I want to say AI can be very literal sometimes. So depending on the word you use here, if you use limit, that's one thing. But in a previous session, I had a realtor say stop at, and it literally stopped in the middle of a sentence. Because it was like, well, you said not to go on. So I'm halfway through what I want to say, but I guess I got to stop, right? Okay. Now, some more examples of various components of a prompt. So the persona, right? So when we're setting the stage for tone and voice. So you could be a social media specialist. You're an event coordinator. Does anybody run client events here, right? For example, for their VIP clients or a summer event, etc. You're a business planning guru. We're entering business planning season, right? Or we're in the thick of it already, right? For next year. Tasks and steps. So here you want to describe in as much detail as you can what you want it to do for you. So give me a step-by-step instruction to mapping out a client purchasing experience and mindset. The format. So specify how you want the output to come back to you. In a table format, provide a bulleted list of. You can do things like say, write as Dr. Zeus. Okay, which maybe you're all wondering why we have that, but multiple things. I had one of the realtors in a previous session use that actually, because we're about to start our listing description challenge again. We're going to pick that up and see with better prompt what we can come up with. But he said, right as Dr. Zeus, and it came up with a very sort of engaging, obviously sort of melodic thing, right? Which, you know, you may not use as a listing description in the MLS, right? But maybe depending on your personality and who you are and who you're trying to attract by this post, maybe use it on a social media post, right? Because I can tell you, it made everybody in the room smile. So anyway, just an example of things you can do. Or you can get it also to say, hey, I want you to create a marketing plan. So I want it to come back as a marketing plan would. Okay, context. Providing context is a must. Again, who is our audience? And this is something, again, that often doesn't necessarily come to mind, but it's so important. So considering the industry challenges, right? Or a user needs help finding. Or maybe you're creating emails for the holiday celebration, end of year, right? For the holiday celebrations, so on. Examples. So you can also give Gemini actual examples of what you would like it to create. Now, whether that is contextual, right? Formatting, writing style, and so on. And following up. So as we were talking earlier with Beatrice, chats are iterative, which means you can keep them going. So if there's something that you don't like or you want a different option, things like that, you can just keep it going, right? I have had realtors say to me, yeah, oftentimes I say, nope, try again, right? Or things like that. Optional components now.
Let me get back to the
Yeah,
follow-up. So
of
when I
course.
use ChatGPT,
Mhm.
when I'm doing a prompt and whatever, right? And I forgot something, I just add it, right?
Mhm.
And I noticed here, I did that question with the with Gemini, with the, not with the listing, but with the market report,
Mhm.
but I forgot to put the year.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, I was still thinking,
Yeah.
but afterwards I put for 2025, and it gave me the celestial events guide.
It gave you the what?
The
celestial events guide.
It didn't give me my,
Didn't follow up.
no, it didn't follow up. And in ChatGPT, it would have followed up.
Interesting. So the other thing also, as I'm sure you all know, is that your AI gets to know you over time, right? And the more you use it and the more it knows you, the better outputs it comes up with because it knows what you want. So Gemini also, just by the way, doesn't know you yet, right?
I don't think it has to do with that, though. It has to do with the follow-up to the question that was there.
Yeah, like all I said was for 2025, and it was right after. It was still thinking about the market report, so it should have just followed up. Why would it automatically go to the celestial events?
I think you have to tell it that you want it.
No, so my point was that I didn't have to do that with ChatGPT. It just followed up.
Okay, so that potentially could be an example of where ChatGPT is maybe superior in that particular instance. Potentially. Again, as I said, it's very again, because it improves all the time. And depending on, sometimes also we can write the same prompts and have different answers again. And then it's like, well, why does it do that? And that can be also, that's why I did bring up the getting to know us better and stuff, right? Because that realtor I was talking about who uses the just nope, try again.
Yeah.
It now knows that every time she asks it a question, it's got to give her 3 options. So she doesn't even have to ask for it anymore because it knows that she's not satisfied with one answer. So it's just an example. So maybe as you use it, it'll be like, okay, sometimes there will be a missing piece and it'll just be added after, right?
Okay.
Potentially, right? The other thing also, what you can do to get Gemini to know you as fast as possible is you can do things like say to Gemini, ask me 30 questions to get to know me better. Things like that. Yeah. Also, you're laughing, but you guys in this room, have you ever asked AI what it knows about you?
That would scare me, I think.
Yeah. I hope so.
What's that?
You don't want.
Well, Gemini knows nothing about me right now.
So maybe my wife asked,
I'm sure it also.
So you know what? I'm sorry to burst your bubble there, but it
Oh, yeah.
does, because in the free version, it will have access to every, your online presence, right?
Yeah, I take that back.
Yeah. And so it was interesting because in another session, a realtor was like, yeah, like it knows my husband's name, my kids' name, how many kids I have, like, so.
so you can ask, like, my wife will ask the Gemini, well, to know more about me, like, let's say, get more information from there, yes?
Yes, what you do have to be specific of, is the name and where the person is from, if you will, in the sense, obviously there are people who have identical names across the world, right? So you want to be specific as, you know, I am first name, middle name, last name. I am a realtor in Etobicoke, Ontario, Toronto, or Canada, sorry, good grief, and so on, right? Because if you don't do that, then it's going to be like, well, I'm not sure which one we're talking about in the world, right?
So I wanted to test out Amethyst thing, what happened to her. So
Yeah.
I actually asked it, who is the realtor for this listing?
Yeah.
And it actually said, and it is my listing,
Mhm.
Daniel Levy from Sutton Group.
Oh, it's your listing.
That's my listing.
So
Someone.
She advertised my listing. That's what it
yeah,
was.
but
It's gotta
so
be that.
that is an example of hallucination, right? Because that is incorrect information.
Maybe not hallucination, maybe it's just picking up on the fact that she did
The
a
advertising.
bunch of marketing for it.
Yeah, because you see-
Yeah, but it's nonetheless, if she did a bunch of marketing for it, she's putting it out there. That doesn't mean that she's the listing agent, right? So that is incorrect, which
Yeah.
means it's hallucinating, right?
So, but it also included ours, so it said Royal LePage and Sutton Group, and then specifically, it said Daniel Levy, and my name is not even in there. And I paid for a lot of marketing.
Clearly not enough.
She must have paid more.
So, but see, there are limitations to AI, right? And
Yeah.
that is also what we have to keep
Try
in
the
mind.
same in ChatGPT. See what it says.
Yeah.
Because whenever another agent is like he can put an ad in the paper about specific, like let's say your listing, he doesn't have to say that, yes, but the listing it belongs to.
Yeah, no,
See,
no,
that-
of
that's
course
the
not.
problem. That's-
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course not. So again, that's the thing is AI can only pull from the information that it sees or it's given, right? Okay, optional components, guys, let's get back here to, so you don't need to use all of these, but of course, the more you use, and again, the more you refine your prompt, the better it's going to be. So reasoning, you can actually tell the model how you would like it to approach work being done for you. Basically, you can tell it what process you want it to use. Example, plan, then answer. List assumptions from the listing, outline your approach in 3 bullets, then provide the final marketing copy only. Stop. You can tell the model when to stop generating so that the output doesn't go off or drift too much, right? You can say stop after providing 3 options, or for example, end with a summary only. Excuse me, limits. So to prevent hallucinating again as much as possible, because it's never a 100% guarantee with ChatGPT and Gemini. To prevent hallucinating, you can give the model guardrails that it must stay within. Again, you know, use credible sources or name the source, right? And style and tone. Give the model style and tone guidelines to follow, which we talked about a little bit before, right? Things like a warm and friendly email. Or example, the blog must be written at a 12th grade reading level and use adjectives to evoke imagery. Strictly avoid using filler words, slang, and redundant language. And this I'm going to tell you all, so you can tell Gemini to avoid specific words. So at Learning Services, when we come up with the titles for the training sessions that we do every season, we have, of course, our main idea, our topic. We throw it in Gemini to give us a hand. And we will say, you know, don't use the words X. And the reason we did that is because I can't remember the particular word, but at one point I was finding we were using one word way too much in our titles, and I was like, we need to stop that, right? So we just say, don't use that word. And automatically it'll just avoid that and give us a whole bunch of different options instead. Okay. All right, so now let's go back to our instant listing description challenge. So we're going to go back to Gemini. And what I'm going to do here is up on the screen, I'm going to put up the 4 core components with the options as well. Hang on, I'm going to do it this way so you guys can actually read it. Hang on a second here. Let's do this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave this up on the screen. I'm going to get you all to go back to Gemini. And what we're going to do is we're going to start a new chat. So you'll have your new chat in the top left corner there. And then you're going to now ask again for the listing description of the same property, but now you're going to include the 4 core components at the very least, right? So I'm going to give you all a few minutes to do that. And of course, the idea here is to see how much better the output is once we give it those core components. All right.
So how can I go back?
New chat.
New chat?
Yeah. So we're going to go new chat.
Don't be calm.
It's almost the same.
One thing I noticed with chat, which is real annoying sometimes. Like, for instance, like, instead of saying cannot, like, it says drag it out. So you have to work that. I would like to spell the whole word.
Yeah, so yeah, you would have to specify in the prompt, you know, don't use abbreviation, actions, etc., right? Yeah.
Like slide down. Yeah, that's a check.
Sometimes it's.
It should be there. It should be here.
Yeah,
It's like right here.
Yeah. If it's absolutely wrong, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You need them.
The email should listen this.
It gave a lot more description.
Okay, so yes, if anybody's ready to share, so a lot more description, it's more accurate.
Oh.
A couple more minutes. Findings?
Because I don't have a lot in there yet. I'm creating a marketing plan while we're sitting there, so I'm utilizing it.
Excellent, I love it.
I did.
You did.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just trying to sync it all up now. Very good.
Otherwise, I was just gonna text our customer care team.
Yeah, no, they
Fine.
just responded, but I figured it out myself.
All right,
Thank you.
no problem. Anybody else want to share findings?
Yes.
I asked ChatGPT what it knows about me.
Yeah.
And it said that like, I don't know how it would know this, but you've had jobs where breaks were skipped due to workload, and that's so accurate.
Where what, sorry?
Breaks were skipped due to workload.
Huh.
How would it know that?
Did you ever, I don't know, do a social media post or write
I'm
to
gonna-
someone about
What
it
did
or
it say?
talk?
She missed.
Cause I'm gonna tell you guys something funny.
Well, I know we're being listened to all
We're
the
being
time.
listened to all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
funny.
We're
Other
being,
than,
It's true,
Well,
but
we're-
watched.
yeah.
Watched and-
yeah.
And what?
So,
if they said something negative?
Oh, let me see.
You know what I
next
mean?
page.
Well, no,
Like,
but
that's a
then- no.
positive thing, so it's kind of
That's
okay.
not, oh, positive. Oh, well, it just telling me, it just tells you about yours. Oh, like I'm a horrible person? Let's see. No, I'm not interested in what it thinks about
Gemini
me.
responded kind of funny actually when I
Okay.
asked Gemini because they don't know me. They just
Yeah,
said, I am an AI and I don't know anything about you personally.
huh, interesting.
I don't have access to any personal information about you, such as your name, location, history, or identity. But I like literally just started today, so I put nothing in other than what you've prompted me.
Okay.
ChatGPT said
Interesting.
differently, but
Yeah, very
Then it's
interesting.
not picking up from stuff from
Yeah.
ChatGPT
Yeah.
or the advertisings that you've done for listings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
sorry, I was
Put
there.
your phone in an aluminum bag and put it in the microwave while you're at home. Listen to your conversation.
Turn on the microwave.
Well, no, a funny example of, we're being listened to is, a few sessions ago, I was saying that the M dash, in my experience so far, in the whole beginning of the training season, is nobody during my sessions had yet seen an M dash in Gemini. And I said it seemed to be only in ChatGPT. Then we did the instant listing description challenge that day that I had just said that, and M dashes appeared everywhere. So there
But
you
still,
go.
I can use the microphone. Does that mean that we are listening? That the system is listening?
Yeah. Well, even your phones.
I mean, your phone, an example of that is, I'm sure this has happened to everybody in the room, right? You're talking about, or I do this, right? Because I love to shop. So I talk about, I don't know, a Nike shoe that I really liked or whatever. And then Facebook 2 seconds later is like, oh, look, there's a Nike ad,
It's on sale.
right? And it's on sale.
Yeah,
That
Right?
happens all the time.
Well, did you
So-
know that even the cars listen
Yeah,
to you?
Yeah,
And they do not want to give you the right to opt out or anything.
yeah. It's,
Right.
yeah. It's where we're going, right? Okay, so I think that having done that exercise, right? I think we can all agree that having more refined prompts is also going to be quicker for us in the long run, because then you have to do less iterative chatting after, because you're already getting pretty much everything you want, right? Maybe a few minor tweaks here and there. So now let's talk about what we can do if we bring Gemini and RLP Sphere together. Okay. And again, I just want to repeat for those of you who don't use RLP Sphere, I'm sure also whatever CRM you're using has tools that are similar, and that you'll be able to create the same sort of thing. A landing page prompt. So just a question, does anybody use landing pages here in RLP Sphere?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what we did here is we asked Gemini, give me a wireframe for a landing page meant for a real estate listing. So wireframe being a visual representation of what my landing page might look like. And then we tell it, my tool, so the tool in RLP Sphere, is similar to the drag and drop tool used to build a MailChimp email. Now, we're giving it the example of MailChimp email because MailChimp is a very widely known and used platform. So in all likelihood, Gemini is familiar with it. If we said the RLP Sphere landing page tool, maybe not, right? Okay. So then what it does is that the output we got from that, the answer, is we basically got an outline of the wireframe. So it didn't give us a visual representation, but it gave us basically a text version of what it would look like. So we said, no, hang on a minute. Make a visual representation to help me recreate it in my tool. Okay, and then Gemini came up with this. So for those of you who use landing pages in RLP Sphere, you know that this is looking very, very similar to what you can create by dragging and dropping different content sections in there. Okay, so that's the example Gemini gives us, right? With it says, you know, you're going to want to put a picture in there. You have all the main specs, schedule a showing. Maybe you want to put in a button there where people can click on it. Then it gives the quick facts, and then it'll give the gallery at the bottom, right? And why is this useful? Because if you're anything like me, where sometimes when I'm sitting in front of a blank slate or a blank page, I have trouble sort of visualizing it or being creative. And I'm like, well, it would help if I had a general idea of what I could do, right? And then this is us creating it again in the drag and drop tool that we have for a landing page in RLP Sphere. Right? So that's what it could look like there. Blog ideation prompt. So of course, as we talked about earlier, you can have Gemini create blogs for you. But what you can also do is say, hey, Gemini, acting as a content creator, that's the persona, right? But we went even further and we said a content creator that is specialized in Canadian real estate. Give me 10 blog post ideas for the fall 2025, right? And then once we get that, we said, okay, so now let's actually have you create one of those ideas, right? So here we said, write a 200 blog post based on this. Fall 2025 Canadian housing market outlook, is the slowdown a buyer's opportunity? Then we put in the topic, more detailed, etc. You know, discuss how this softer market gives buyers more negotiation power and choice, blah, blah, blah. And then Gemini comes up with this. Fall 2025 is Canada's cooling housing market, a buyer's golden opportunity. For what feels like an eternity, the Canadian housing market has been a seller's playground, defined by bidding wars, blah, blah, blah. As I said, you guys will get all of these slides, so if you want to read through it, absolutely. But yeah. Okay. Last thing we're going to look at here, the market report prompt. Okay. So we said to Gemini, again, using a tool similar to MailChimp, I am creating a real estate market report for the beaches in Toronto. We're telling it to provide me with the content in brackets using reliable sources, and also create a wireframe for me to recreate it in my drag and drop tool. So this is the content it creates for us with an executive summary, all of the key market statistics for August 2025, because this is when we were prepping this. Okay. Average sold price, average days on market, list to sale price ratio, and so on. And then this is the wireframe, so the visual representation of what it could look like. Okay. And then adding or building the email as a template in RLP Sphere, again, using that same drag and drop tool like we have for the landing pages, right? So that's what it could look like. Okay. Any good ideas here that you guys might use to create content? And again, get more eyes on your content too. Okay, let's review. So we did a deep dive into the 5 top ways that as realtors you might use AI. It might be of benefit to you. So effortless content creation and marketing, enhancing client communication, data-driven market analyses and insight, optimizing listing presentation as well as virtual staging, always with the proper disclaimers, streamlining administrative tasks and boosting productivity. And last but not least, the art of prompting with the 4 core components Anybody want to try their hand at the 4 core components? Do you guys remember what they are?
I've got them written down.
You do? All right.
Persona, task, context, and format.
There you go. Very good. And the thing with that is that obviously, as with everything, the more you practice and the more you use it, it's just going to come naturally to you that you're going to include those 4 items in there, right? Those components. At first, as with everything, you're going to be going, okay, do I have the persona? Do I have the context and so on? But then it'll just come naturally. It'll come naturally. Okay. Key takeaways. So I think we've demonstrated here that Gemini offers a lot of versatility all the way from marketing tasks to administrative tasks. And I think we can all agree that excelling at structured, detailed, and iterative prompting is a critical point to your success with this tool. And then as always, practice, 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 because continuous practice and experimentation also are encouraged. And as we were talking about earlier, depending on what it is that you're requesting of Gemini, you can also, of course, use your personal accounts as well, right? For that, if you're just using it again for daily activities or things like that. I've also had realtors tell me they use it to plan out the best routes and stuff, right? Talking about traffic earlier and whatever. Okay, action items. So explore Gemini further. Maybe have a go at Nano Banana, right? Create some images, edit some images. And then, as I said earlier, obviously, the more you apply these prompting techniques in your daily work, the more it's going to become second nature. Are there any further questions at the moment, anyway?
Is there going to be, because you're doing another session after this, right?
Yes.
In the next session, is there going to be any discussion about how we input information about ourselves into it so that like identify ourselves more? Like set up our profile or something?
No. So the next one, we're talking about a different app, which is called NotebookLM, which is a Google app, but it's different.
Okay.
So as I said, basically the way to get the tool to know you as fast as possible, as I said, is, for example, you can ask me 30 questions to get to know me better, right? Things like that. And then you can literally just tell it also by using the microphone feature, right?
Okay.
That's a great way. If you're talking about also the difference so ChatGPT Pro, I know, has like different profile personas that you can set up ahead of time, sort of thing, right? So Gemini doesn't really have the exact same equivalent to that. Basically, the cheap way of getting around that is to simply have a Google Doc with those different personas, and you can just plop them in to Gemini as you're starting a chat. It's kind of the workaround. Otherwise, Gemini does have something that's called GEMS. GEMS is a much more advanced tool in Gemini, and since we're doing an introduction today, GEMS is not something we would have time to explore. However, in most likely, we will be having a webinar on GEMS in the future. Cole's notes on GEMS is basically you can create a gem to deal with repetitive tasks. Like, for example, you could have a gem for angry emails. I mean, I hope you don't get too many of those, but you could, right? So, as I said, just quick Cole's notes, that's what GEMS is. And it's also obviously a very interesting feature, but a little bit more
How do you
advanced.
spell gem?
GEMS, literally GEMS, like a gem. Yeah,
Gem.
exactly, like a gem. All right. So all of these illustrate, again, just for those of you joining us, I just want to repeat the bit where I said, not only can generative AI such as ChatGPT and Gemini hallucinate, make stuff up, but the way that they were trained is to prove your point. So depending on how you ask the question, again, if you're making an assumption that something is true, ChatGPT will actually try and prove your point, right? Whether it's right or wrong. So on the flip side of that, we have the app called NotebookLM. So what exactly is NotebookLM? NotebookLM is an AI-powered research assistant. It was actually initially created to help students in college and university as basically a study guide. Because what you can do in a NotebookLM, amongst many, many other things, is you could, for example, put in like a whole course syllabus, etc., and then ask it to come up with a summary of it, or to outline the main bullet points, or and so on, right? It's a personalized and centralized knowledge base. So it's anchored exclusively in the data sources you provide. So basically, for NotebookLM to work, you have to give it documents to work from. Otherwise, it can't do anything for you, okay? So what does that mean for you and your business? Well, it means there are no hallucinations, right? Because you're providing it with the documents, and it can only get information from the documents that you have given it, okay? The only way that potential hallucination can find themselves in NotebookLM is if you were, for example, to create or ask a question in Gemini, not vet the content, and then put that into a notebook. Okay, does that make sense for everyone? Very good. So NotebookLM can, of course, also help you better understand a given topic, or help your client, or help you to help your clients better understand a topic as well. And it acts as an expert on the sources it's given. So let's hop into an actual notebook here to see what it looks like. So again, I'm going to ask you all to open up a new tab, and
I don't get into that.
okay, I will show you in just a moment. I just want to reiterate for everyone that, again, and this is all the more important because here you could, and that's what we're going to do in a minute, but you could add in all the documents for a particular sale, right, that you have or whatever, right? So here we're going to be putting in documents that are obviously contain private information and stuff. So all the more important to be under your Royal LePage account for the security purposes, right? So everybody just makes sure that you're in your Royal LePage accounts here. I'm going to come and see you in a second. We're going to open that same 9-dot menu, and then we're going to head down to NotebookLM. You will see it looks like this, NotebookLM. So do you have access? Yeah, I can see you're clicking on the right spot there. And it's going to ask you to verify it's you.
Good.
Yeah.
Don't you do your password, and I'm just going to move this because otherwise I'm going to keep going into it.
Do you still want us to be in the Royal LePage account?
Yes.
Okay.
Very, very important, because again, we're going to be putting in, let's just say got it. We're going to be putting in private documents and things like that. So let's go to the 9-dot menu there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then scroll down until you see the NotebookLM app. Keep going. It'll be way at the bottom if you've never used it before. There it is, NotebookLM. Okay,
Where will I find it? Sorry.
so let's close this up for a sec.
Forgot my,
So let's click on mail again.
But you have a touchscreen.
yeah, no, I don't want to touch screen.
We're gonna
I
do the
did,
9-dot
yeah.
menu, and then at the very
Yeah.
bottom of that 9-dot menu, you'll see the icon that my mouse is hovering over.
2 or 3 years.
Oh. Right there.
Create new notebook.
Then I have to change, then I have to learn.
So, hey, just hang on a second. If you're, let me see. Hold on.
Did you get that page?
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet, but you're where you should be. Perfect.
Am I okay?
No, you're not sure what happened. Let me go back here, 9-dot menu. Okay, go down. NotebookLM.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, how's that?
Let's scroll down to the bottom and.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and now let's just hang out here for a second.
I know that people bought it. Right, did one of it.
Okay, all right.
I paid for it.
So NotebookLM, here you will see, obviously, if you've never been in it before, you won't have all of these notebooks like I do, and that's normal, right? All you will see is the create notebook, and you will also see, and some of you I've seen, you have the create new button. Sometimes it's more at the bottom here, right?
Yeah, mine is.
But either way, it's the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on create new notebook. And the first thing it does when you do that is it says, okay, give me something to work from, right? Because otherwise it can't do anything for you, all right? So, and I am gonna give you some documents and stuff that you can upload into here, so we'll be able to see what you can do with it in a moment. But first, I just wanna go over the platform with you. So here you can see that you can upload sources directly from your computer, for example. You can also upload documents from your Google Drive, which is what we'll be doing a little later if you guys are game for it. You can also upload links to website or YouTube. Now, a link to a website will give you access to that specific page and not necessarily the entire website. And if the website links to other websites, you don't have access to all of that, right? But you will to the specific link you give, or you can also add copied text in there.
So you're talking about like you will actually read all the information on the website, like pull it up, pull it.
So of the page of the website,
It's
yeah.
rolling.
So source limit. So per notebook, you can add 50 sources, 50. So 50 documents, 50, whatever it is that you link, etc., right? Interestingly enough, there doesn't seem to be a limit on size of each document, but rather just the number of documents. The other thing is with the enterprise version, again, which you have access to through Royal LePage, you can have 500 notebooks. So as we go along, you guys will see, I don't know in what scenario you would have 500 active notebooks at one time, because you can also delete the notebooks as you go along. So basically what I'm saying is the chances of you exceeding the allotted amount of notebooks in my mind is nil, right? But okay. So what I'm going to do at the moment is just close this so I can show you the platform itself, composed of 3 sections. So the left section, first of all, is the sources. So when you actually add sources, you would see them listed here, okay? And if at this stage we're like, okay, now we're ready to add sources, we would just go ahead and click on the add button. And again, we get that exact same window, okay? I'm going to close that once again. Now, the center section is the chat. So this, similar again to Gemini or ChatGPT, is where you're going to be asking your questions, requests, etc. And then the right-hand side is maybe the most exciting part of all this, which is the studio. And the studio is going to be able to create a lot of very helpful material for you related to the sources that you've given it, such as a podcast. You can create an informational video, okay? Flashcards, a quiz if you're learning something for a course. So we're going to go through all of these different options and what they look like and sound like and all of that. We're going to look at that together. But so just a couple of examples of what it could be used for here. For example, from a brokerage or office perspective, it could be really interesting too, because they could create this notebook and then have all of those documents that you guys just adore, like Tressa and FinTrack and stuff like that. Also for new agents, right? For them to be able to ask questions and learn more about it and things like that. Something I want to mention about sharing the notebooks. So the notebooks can be shared only within Royal LePage. So again, as an office or brokerage, right? Could absolutely share it with all of you, for example, a specific notebook. If you're an agent maybe co-listing with another agent, you can absolutely, using the share button, right? You could absolutely share it with your co-listing agent.
You put their email address in or the full name?
You would put their email address in. Okay, I'm just going to close that for a second. And what we're going to be, the exercise that I propose that we do here, if you guys are up for it. So basically here, if you already have documents that you might want to upload and test out this notebook for, absolutely do that. Otherwise, we created, hang on a second, let me go to the right one here. We created at Learning Services a Google Drive folder that has a whole bunch of different folders per province, of course, because we train across the country, but that has various real estate forms for different provinces. If you would like access to that file or that folder so that you can upload those and we can start testing out your first notebook. If you're interested in that, if you go to a new window, I'm going to do this with you all. So if you open a new tab and at the very top here in the address bar, you're going to type in RLP learning.info/NLM. You will then see this. So let me hang on, right? Let me come back to the slide. So you're typing in RLP learning.info/capital. This is very important. Capital NLM. If you don't put the capitals in, you won't get it. Okay. Then I'm going to come back to what you should be seeing.
Tap on province.
No, so just hang on. Just hang on. Yeah, once you're there, all we're doing here is you getting access to it. Okay, once that's done, we're going to go back to our NotebookLM and that's where we're uploading those. Okay.
Here,
Okay, so
backward.
that's because it wasn't the right link. So let's just go to a new tab. Okay, RLP.
Yeah, you anticipate.
B.
Yeah, learning, correct. Dot info. Yeah, /. Yeah, capital NLM for NotebookLM. Yeah. Enter.
I'm not gonna.
And put it in.
Yeah.
So that,
Okay, but I'm not getting the
Okay,
RL.
just hang tight.
Does that matter?
no, just go back to.
Everybody okay who wants access to the folder? Okay, perfect. So now once that's done, you have access now. Great. Let's go back to NotebookLM. So we're going to go back to our tab. We're looking at this now. And we're going to click.
Tab right there.
Okay. Then we're going to click on add sources, right? So we have this. Okay. Then we're going to scroll down a little and we're going to click on the Google Drive button. Okay. Google Drive. Once we click Google Drive, you want to go to shared with me. Okay.
Can't get the Google Drive. I'm trying to go
So add source.
Oh,
Okay. And then you scroll down on this window and Google Drive.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Here, what I'm telling you is that this is just my.
It'll come up in a second and you go shared with me.
Page account.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay. And then double click on NotebookLM.
So that one, leave that one open.
One more time, double click.
Yeah.
Then select Ontario.
Okay.
Double click again.
So.
I'm here.
Yeah, so you click on NotebookLM, you have to double click on it. And then you can select as many files as you want. Okay, they will light up in blue.
This one?
Okay, and then you have an insert button that's just there below.
Well, I'm here now. We go to.
Okay, so you added one document, you can also add in more. So you want to go into Ontario?
Go into, yeah.
Yeah, double click, and then you can select as many documents as you want from there.
Okay.
And you will see a blue insert button at the bottom right. Okay, so everyone, once you're in shared with me,
Yeah.
you should see, again, I have different share options, so mine is not here, but here you will see NotebookLM here. You want to double click on that, then you're going to double click on the folder Ontario, and then you can select as many of the files in there as you want. As soon as you select one, you will see a blue insert button at the bottom right.
Create.
Back to my other Gmail, so maybe that's why.
So we decide on which one, or you can do all of them. That's what I've done, that I'm going to show you with the example of. Yeah, okay, good to go. All right. How are we doing, guys?
I know what this is, but.
I got one.
File.
Okay, very good.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know how I got it.
Right.
No, but it's my fault. I know what I did wrong. I went into my regular Gmail because I was checking an email from a client and now it's something. I'll catch up to speed.
Okay, very good.
I just need a minute to get there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so just hang tight.
And you can add as many
We're all
as
here,
you
and
want.
how do I just say add everything or?
So you have to actually select them.
Highlight
So
them.
just select, click on each one, they'll light up in blue, and then you'll have the insert button bottom right as soon as you
Can I
select
do a
one.
select all?
You can try, I don't know that it works. Let's see.
Yes,
Yeah,
by doing shift. Perfect, and now even better. Yes,
No, babe.
so go to the first, go to the shift, go to the last, click
I
then-
gotta go. I
No,
gotta go.
no, shift and one, two.
to the, go to the last one, click that one, and now insert.
Yeah, it's like.
Beautiful.
okay, so I think everybody is up to speed now, so. What we have now, if you add all of those files, sorry, that I just gave you in that folder there, you will see them on the left side here.
Please.
I'm sorry?
You gave them some?
Yes, those are the Ontario, it should be in the Ontario folder if you opened it. Sorry, I don't, okay. I can't.
Let's do the
It's very difficult for me to get here.
Because I can't.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna scoot this forward and try and get back through here.
Here.
Share with me.
What?
When you-
Okay, you got the same thing?
Yes,
Okay,
this right here.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I got 100.
okay.
You say.
Sorry.
See what's on, right again.
So did you type into an info rlp.learning.info. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so let's open a new window.
I wanna do.
You get here?
To the,
Oh, pad?
yeah.
Here, but I don't know why when I go into here, I get
What?
my other Gmail.
Okay, so can you click on that?
Oh, here, okay.
Exactly, so click on that one.
And then hit yeah.
Fantastic, now here, RLP Learning.
Yeah.
Learning.info/NLM for NotebookLM. Yep, enter. Yeah, so now you have access to it. So
No.
now let's just close that for a second and we're gonna go,
Close
yeah,
it?
you can just minimize it for a sec.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go back to NotebookLM there. Okay, then we're gonna
Take
go
a look at it, tells you
sources.
all the conditions you could put in.
And then you should go down to Google Drive there. Shared with me is now there. So NotebookLM, double click, then double click on Ontario. And then select as many as you want, which we saw that you can shift and select them all, and then you'll have the blue insert button at the bottom.
Yeah, we even overdoing, like how to remove this, because we have 3 times the same thing here, like there were 3 documents.
Oh, 3 documents the same. Okay, so hang on, let me go up there and show everyone. Oh,
Right.
sorry. All right.
remove source.
Yeah, so I want to make sure everybody sees this, right? So guys, if your experience is you've added a document that you don't want, or you added it by mistake, or whatever it is, if you hover over the left side, there is an ellipsis menu, which is the 3 dots.
Yep.
You can remove the source and also rename it from the left side. Okay? All right. So once you add documents, what's going to happen is, without asking NotebookLM anything, it's going to give you just a very quick summary of what it is that you added in there. Okay. So here it's telling us the provided sources offer a comprehensive look at the governing documents and operational details for the Metropolitan Toronto Condominium Corp number 1170, which is MTCC 1170, alongside various Ontario real estate forms and so and so. Okay. So what we can do now, multiple things, but let's say that Debbie has or has first-time home buyers, okay? And they're looking at purchasing a condo in this building. And all of a sudden they call up Debbie today and they go, oh my God, Debbie, we completely forgot to tell you that in 2 months we're adopting a dog and we need to know if the building allows dogs. And Debbie's like, okay, we got to do this really quick. So she's not going to go and get her paper copy or whatever of the rules and start trying to figure it out. She's just going to come into her NotebookLM and in the chat section, she's going to say, are pets allowed? Question mark, enter.
How do they know what building you're talking about?
Because we
Because
specifically gave the
empty-
documents for a specific condo building,
Okay.
right here. So it's taking a second. All right. So you'll see the answer is quite elaborate. Okay. But this is what's very interesting here. So it'll give you, number one, the short form answer, which is yes, they are allowed, but their presence is subject to strict limitations regarding type, size, location, and behavior. Then you might notice that after every comment or every affirmation, sort of, every piece of information, I should say, there are little source buttons. And if you hover over that, it tells you exactly where it got this from. Okay, exactly what section of the document. Furthermore, if you were to actually click on one, it will go and bring it up for you on the left side and highlight it. Okay. So this is obviously very interesting because it's a huge time saver. Also, it makes it so that you can answer certain questions from your clients a lot faster. Okay.
So where did they get the initial answer? Yes or no?
So they will get the answer. So because we gave all of these documents, it's going to peruse all of these documents
Condo declaration.
for that answer, right?
The condo declaration, yeah.
Okay. But again, the great thing is we don't actually have to know that, right? Just ask the question and it will go and find the relevant information as per the documents you've given it, right?
Yeah.
So you don't even actually need to know in which document it is. Do you know what I mean? That's the other time saver, right? Okay. Now, the other thing is that on the right side here, I was talking about the studio. So you can create a bunch of different things. So let's say here, again, this is all of the governing documents and rules and stuff for a specific condo. And as Debbie's clients in this scenario are first-time home buyers, they're not familiar with what it involves, basically, right? Being the owner of a condo. So what Debbie could do is she could create a podcast for them that explains all of this to them, and then she can send it to them and they can listen to it. So let me show you what I mean.
Wow.
Right?
That's
Oh, this is heavy duty. So multiple things. So you can, if you just want a quick create like a generic podcast created, you can literally just click on the tile and it'll start working. It'll start creating one for you. Or if you want to be a little more specific, you can click on the edit button and you can customize the podcast a little bit. Okay. So you can say, what's the format? So by default, it's a deep dive. So it will be a lively conversation between two hosts, unpacking and connecting topics in your sources. Okay. It could be a debate between the two hosts, a critique, a brief, and so on. At Learning Services, we tried various things to customize this podcast, including trying to change the voices of the two hosts. At the moment, in any case, it's not yet possible. So at the moment, it is one male voice and one female voice. Those voices, etc., cannot be edited. The language can be changed, but not basically the voice, okay?
No accents like
So I tried because I really like the Scottish accent. So we tried to learn to start. Oh, I could listen to it all day. So
your client, yeah?
So we actually tried that at Learning Services. We were like, have the hosts have Scottish accents. It didn't work. So it won't go that far. However, as I said, you can actually change the language. So, and I did try this out in the other language I speak, which is French. And I tried French and then French Canada because they make the difference between the two. And I can tell you that the accents and the language is bang on, right? So now I want to say here, I had a realtor ask me in a previous session, you know, could I create this podcast in Mandarin? And I said, and he said, because my client speaks English and is comfortable in it, but it's her parents purchasing the condo for her and they're more comfortable in Mandarin. So I said to him, well, I mean, I would always sort of tell you guys it's a good idea to always have the content vetted by someone in your circle that speaks that language to make sure that it is, you know, you know, those little things in languages that make it so that it's, you know, it sounds fluid and appropriate and all of that. So I would, to be fair, I would never just suggest you do a language that you have no idea and send it off to a client, right? Like, but as I said, in my experience, in any case, it was very good in French and the French Quebec accent as well. And again, if you guys speak any other languages, please do give it a try, right? Okay, also, as for the podcast length, so at the moment, you cannot specify if, you know, like 7 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, but you can have shorter default and longer. Yes, the other thing I wanted to say about the voices of the podcast hosts, honestly, I feel like it's only a matter of time before you can have your own voice, right? Narrate it. So, but anyway, that is not for today. You can then also say, what should the AI hosts focus on in this episode? So again, taking the example here of Debbie's first-time home buyers, maybe they're also a young family, right? So maybe Debbie says, you know, let's have the hosts focus on the family-friendly neighborhood and the parks and the playgrounds and the schools and the whatever, right? So you can do that as well. And then you can go ahead and say generate. So generating it is going to take a few minutes. I've already pre-generated one, so we can just hear it without waiting. So let me just turn on my speaker here. And when you create something in the studio, you will find them all on the right side here. So what I'm going to do, and there are two options in the podcast. For now, we're just going to play. We're just going to listen to a few minutes of the beginning.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So you sent us this huge stack of documents, bylaws, the declaration, rules, even stuff about real estate agency relationships, all for one building. MTCC 1170, the Metropole, right there at 7 King Street East in Toronto.
Yeah, and huge stack is probably an understatement. This is like the complete operating manual for a mini city. MTCC, for anyone wondering, that's Metropolitan Toronto Condominium Corporation. Buying a unit isn't just buying real estate. It's like signing on to a very detailed contract.
Right. It's almost like a constitution for this vertical community. It covers how they run meetings, how they handle money, even weirdly, what color your blinds have to be.
Exactly. And that's really our mission.
So pretty cool. And this is the podcast. I didn't even give it any specifics. I literally just hit the main square there, the tile for podcast, and this is what it created.
It's more interesting hearing it as a podcast than just someone sort of reading about.
Yeah,
At first
right?
I was skeptical, but after hearing it, I think I'd be more interested in hearing it that way.
Yeah. And I am going to show you also the video option because obviously not everybody learns or gets information in the same manner, right? Some people are more audio, you know, prone. Other people are more visual. So that's why there are different options as well. But we're not done yet with the podcast because there's another very cool feature here of the podcast that I want to show you guys. So I'm going to click on interactive mode here. Okay. Let's click play.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So you sent us this huge stack of documents, bylaw, the declaration, rules, even stuff about real estate agency relationships, all for one building.
And I'm going to click on join.
MTCC 1170, the Metro.
Oh, wait. So what was to join? Hey, go for it.
Hi, I was wondering if I'm allowed to have a barbecue.
Hi there. Thanks for tuning in and for the question.
That is a very specific and highly relevant question for condo living.
Okay, let's unpack this. The documents are actually super clear on this.
And unfortunately, the answer is a pretty firm no.
No barbecuing is permitted in any unit or on any balcony or patio.
Not just that, but the rules specifically prohibit charcoal, wood burning, gas, or propane, and electric barbecues anywhere on the property.
So if you were hoping for a quick grilled dinner on your
Right, pretty cool.
They talk about my building.
So now I think with this interactive piece, you might understand more why I was talking about the sharing and how you can't share it with your clients. Not now anyway. I don't know if this will change or not in future. However, as I mentioned earlier, you can absolutely download the podcast itself. Let me show you here, right? Just by clicking on the ellipsis menu down here, and you can download it and then share it with your clients.
So in other words, you can download and then send in a form of email, for instance?
Correct. Yeah, you could then send the podcast.
Scroll down.
MP format?
MP4.
MP4, or would that be just a link and?
So I did it, let me show you, I downloaded it, so if you click, so first of all, to download it, I had a question here, first you have to generate a podcast, right? Once it's generated and it appears here is then when you can access the ellipsis menu to download it, right? And now you've seen, I've downloaded it, it's here.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So you sent us.
Okay, so this is how it's going to come. Okay, so you can attach the download in an email, for example.
WhatsApp.
That's very cool.
What's that? Or WhatsApp, yeah,
WhatsApp it, yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, video overview. So similar to the podcast, you can also create a visual tool or aid for your clients as well. So the video is basically, it's the same kind of idea to create it. If you just want sort of a generic overview video, you can just click on the tile, or you can be more specific with the edit button. But again, I just pre-generated it so we can watch it without waiting. I'm going to click on play down here and we'll just watch a couple minutes, barely. Oh, sorry, I have to actually click the play button. There we go.
You ever stop to think about what you actually own when you buy a condo? I mean, yeah, it feels like your own private space, but you're also part of this much larger, way more complex system. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're using a real building's legal documents to create the ultimate unofficial owner's manual. So here's our roadmap. We're going to start with the biggest, most surprising idea that your condo is actually a corporation. Then we'll figure out who's in charge, follow the money, and get into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day rules. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by talking about your role as an owner. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first. We kind of have to rewire our brains a little bit here. See,
What we gotta do, we gotta do the reconfirmation guide. And then just share it like that.
Information.
The reconfirmation guide is 13 pages, do it like that as an audio or as a video. And then
Yeah.
How about you do that?
Yes, right, there you go.
Sounds perfect.
That's how we got to it.
I will send it.
So you have to generate it, but that will take a few minutes, right? It won't appear immediately. You have to give it a little bit of time to create it.
Generally,
Very cool.
So, and I mean, this we've been talking about, to share with your clients or things like that. But also I did talk in the beginning about how originally it was created as a study guide. So you can also, I don't know, if you're taking you're going to be writing your exam to get your commercial license or your broker's license. If it's something also not related to real estate, of course. You could upload all of the documents and things from the course and then use tools here to help you get up to speed on it. Just one moment, I will come to you in a minute, including creating flashcards to help you study and creating a quiz to prep you for the exam. Also, question.
So how would you upload all this information? Because I love the fact that you can do all this, but I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to be able to upload something from a book or if it's not from a book, then how, I don't know.
So all through the sources, right? So it has to be digital digital content, right? But then as we saw earlier, per notebook, you can have 50 sources, 50, right? So you can upload sources that are from your computer, right? You can upload sources also from Google Drive. All right. If it's like a full, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't upload an ebook, for example, right? But then I would say, you know, you could get it to create sort of a summary if you needed kind of a Cole's notes of the book or something like that. However, obviously this is not like an audio book platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can use a link, can you use a PDF file?
Yeah, because you just upload it in there.
So just there,
Yeah.
okay, upload the
Yeah.
source, your PDF within your computer that
Mhm.
was sent to you. Or
So
somehow
this
you're
is
able to
great. This
generate.
is
But
a
you
great
can also
setting.
grab like
Right?
YouTube
Yeah.
links, and it will literally just kind of like absorb all the data that is there. Or a website. As you can see, you can load
Mhm.
URL from a website, so we'll read that page, get all that information from the page, and it will be a source of information.
Also, the other thing I just want to tell you all before we come back in here to wrap this up is that here, so when you're in the enterprise version, like we are, there are no default notebooks, right? It's all stuff that you have to create. But if you were, for example, to go into NotebookLM on your personal Gmail account, that is not an enterprise level, there are actually notebooks in there already that are for the public, essentially. For example, the full works of William Shakespeare and things like that, right? So you can also explore those because, again, I'm going to assume that since we're all here today, we're all lifelong learners, right? So as I said earlier, whether you're wanting to learn about a topic that is related to real estate or something that has nothing to do with real estate, this is an amazing tool, right? Let me just come back to our notebook here. Okay. The last thing that I want to show you guys here is the mind map, because this is also very cool. Now, the mind map is something you also have to generate by clicking on it. I, again, have already generated one so that we can look at it together. I'm going to click on it down there. So what the mind map is it will essentially break down and organize all of those documents that we just threw in there willy-nilly, right? So the more I break it down here, I will click on this arrow. Okay, the more I can get specific about where I wanna, what I wanna see and what I wanna do, and so on. Okay, and at any point during this mind map, I can say, okay, give me more details on unit use restrictions. I'm gonna click on this. Automatically, NotebookLM understands, yep, you want me to discuss what these sources say about unit use restriction in the larger context of declaration provisions. Boom, it's going to come out with all of that info, of course, with the sources next to every piece of information.
Have you had any issues because some of these status certificate documents are images, they're not actual OCR text that, you know, have you had that issue where you upload a file, but it cannot be read because it's actually an image, it's not like, it's not digitalized.
I see. So a way around that is to have the image, described by Gemini or NotebookLM. Again, with that though, is we have to just be careful to not invite hallucinations into NotebookLM.
Well,
right?
sometimes you can even upload a photo and, you know, now your phones can actually extract all the data from there.
Yes, also.
Or rescan it as a, you know,
Yes.
readable,
Yeah.
file, yeah.
Mhm, yeah. So, but at the, obviously, all of these documents, here are just text documents for this example. Yeah. But so this is pretty cool again. So you have, as I said, all of those sources that you can just hover over or you can actually click on them, etc. All right, let me hop back to our slides. All of these are just a recap of what we saw live during the session. All right. So let's review. So NotebookLM is AI built for working with your files, the info you provide it with. And unlike Gemini or ChatGPT, it only uses your sources that you provide it with. So just going over the 3 key sections of the platform. We have the sources section on the left, right? You guys remember where you're uploading documents, slides, URLs, etc. to start you off. Then the middle section, which is the chat, where it's gonna help you summarize, draft, or brainstorm, or you can ask the questions too. And then the last section on the right, where all the magic happens, is the studio, right? Where you can create your podcasts, your mind maps, your videos, and all of that good stuff. But wait, there's more. NotebookLM also has a mobile app. So if you guys are interested, you can download, depending on your devices, either through the App Store or the Google Play Store. You can also download the NotebookLM app. And here, similar to RLP Sphere, the desktop version and the mobile version, the app version, you can do a lot of in NotebookLM of what you do on the desktop in the app, such as viewing your existing notebooks, of course. You can also create new notebooks and add sources right from the app. And again, similar to RLP Sphere desktop and app versions, they speak to each other also in NotebookLM. So whatever notebooks you have in your desktop will appear in the app and vice versa. And then you can also, from the app, create new audio podcasts. So for example, if you're on the road one day and you think you had a chat with your spouse in the morning or something, and they talked about a super interesting topic, and you're like, oh, I want to learn more about getting my scuba diving license or who knows what, right? You can go look for information on that, upload it into NotebookLM, create the podcast, and listen while you're driving.
So you can upload that information from the web.
Exactly, through a link, for example.
Through
Right?
a link. Okay.
Yeah.
Because those are the steps for me sometimes I get stuck on, is like, okay, I understand how to do it, but how do the actual logistics of being able to upload stuff?
Yeah, so this morning we had a look at how, or it's now afternoon, sorry, I don't know what time it is. I know we're on time, but I just forgot what time it is. Yeah, so basically everything gets done in the add button. So once you've opened this, you see the essentially 4 different ways that you can upload things in there, right? And again, as always, I encourage you guys to try it out, right? And again, if you're using your enterprise one for all work related stuff, absolutely feel free, if you're just, again, playing with uploading website links and stuff like that, just to general activities or whatever it might be, or topics, you can absolutely do that in your personal Gmail accounts, right?
When will we get the written format of all this?
So we don't have a written, oh, you mean the slides?
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, this afternoon.
Okay.
Okay. I was like, oh, I don't have all that page of text.
You don't have this all recorded, it's shot into a short form?
Not
That we can learn in 5 minutes.
Not yet, but I did say at the end of every training season, once we have completed our Canada-wide run, in the beginning of December, we'll be having those wrap-up webinars, which we do tailor to a webinar content, right, like viewing, and we do a recording of it that then becomes available to all of you. And it is shorter actually, because the in-person activities obviously are different on a webinar, right? It will be a little shorter as well.
But we appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you very much.
When you ask for a summary, you can ask for a 1-page summary or a 10-page summary.
Absolutely, you can. Sure.
We'll expand it out as much as you want.
You can absolutely do that. Yes. Are there any further questions, as we're already a bit in the question and answer period?
Well, we did record it, so you're already here.
Okay, well, hello.
Is anyone there?
It's nice to look
Is-
at your
is-
reel.
Danielle there?
Danielle
Can I ask, we have,
is.
okay, so we have 2 people, just so I'm gonna add them to my attendance list here.
Yes. Sorry, I had to undo my audio mute.
Questions there, Danielle?
Oh, I'm good. No, I watched I think I watched some guy talk about Notebook a while ago on the RLP. You know how you do the talks?
Yes, David Piaya, who is our VP of brokerage technology and AI implementation. Yes.
Yeah, I think I watched one in June.
Yes, absolutely. He did one in June, and he told me he's actually got some coming up. I believe he said in November. So you guys might actually get a recording. I mean, it won't be necessarily exactly the same, but it's covering the same topic, obviously. So in November, you can look out for those also to sign up for those if you're interested as well.
We also had Liz Grigg and Lorena Magallanes were there.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, sorry, you said there were two other
I'll
people?
call you at the end.
Okay, all right. It's okay. I don't need I'm okay with not having the names. I'm just adding, okay. For numbers. All right. So I'll be hanging around if there are any other outstanding questions for a few more minutes. We're ending just a little bit early, 10 minutes ahead of schedule. And again, we very much appreciate your feedback on the second topic here. If you would like to provide it, you can go ahead and scan that QR code one more time.
A long division quiz for my daughter.
There you go.
It's a test in 2 days. I'm like, oh,
Perfect.
So if you like, just for fun, if you have a notebook, okay, you create a new, and you ask